Welcome to my channel. Today my topic is dying sun. A few stars are known which are hardly bigger than the earth, but most of them are so large that hundreds of thousands of earth could be packed inside each and leave room to spare. Here and there, we find a immune star large enough to contain millions and millions of earth, and the total numbers of stars in the universe is probably something like the total number of grain of sand on all the seashores of the world. Such a littleness of our home in space when measured up against the total substances of the universe. These millions of stars are wandering about in space, a few from groups which journey in company, but most of them travel alone, and they travel through a universe so immunity is very rare event indeed for one star to come anywhere near the other. And for the most part, each star makes it is a voyage in complete loneliness, like a ship on the empty ocean. In a scale model in which the stars are ships, the average ship will be well over a million miles from its nearest neighbor. From this, it is easy to understand why a star seldom finds another anywhere near it. We believe, however, that some 2000 million years ago this rare event took place and that another star wandering blindly through space happened to come near the sun just as the sun moon rise tides on the earth. So this second star must have rise on the surface of the sun, but they would be very different from the little tides which the small mass of the moon rises in our ocean. An immense tidal we have the travel over the surface of the sun, at last forming a mountain so high that we can hardly imagine it. As he cause of the disturbance came nearer and nearer, the mountain would rise higher and higher, and before the second star began to move away again, its tidal pull had become so powerful that his mountain was torn to pieces and threw small parts of itself into space. These small pieces have been going round the sun ever since. They are the planet great and small, of which our earth is one. The sun and the other stars we see in the sky are all extremely hot, for too hot for life to exist on them. So also no doubt were the pieces of the sun when they were first thrown off. Gradually they became cooler until now they have very little heat of their own left, their warmth coming almost entirely from the radiations which the sun pours down on them. In course of time, on one of these cooling pieces gave birth to life. We do not know how, when, or why is this happened. It started a simple organisms whose living powers consisted chiefly in their being able to be produced themselves before dying. But from the humble beginnings came a stream of life, which growing ever more and more complex has in end produced beings whose lives end largely interred in the feelings and ambitions, their sense for beauty, and the religions in which lie their highest hopes and noble desires. Although we cannot speak with an entity with certainty, it seems most likely that the human race came into existence in some such way as this. Standing on our little grain of sand, we try to discover the nature and purpose of the universe which surrounds our homes in space and time. Our first feeling in something like fear. We find the universe frightened because of this immense distances which we do not understand, frightened because of the stretches of time so great that we cannot imagine them, making the whole of human history of very small in comparison, frightening because of our extreme loneliness and because of the littleness and our home in space, a million part of grain of sand out of all the sea sand in the world. But above all else, we find the universe frightening because we cannot find find any sign that life like our own exists anywhere in its aspect in the earth. Indeed, for the most part, empty space is too good that our life in which would be frozen. Most of the matter in space is too hot as to make life on it impossible. Life does not seem to have any part in the plane of the universe which produce our planetary system. Calculations shows that there will be only few such systems in space. Yet, so far as we can see, life of the kind we know on Earth can exist only the planets like the Earth. It needed suitable physical condition for appearances, the most important of which is temperature at which substances can exist in a liquid state.